everyone, we're here today to talk about Endless Desire. So let's get started. Inspiration. What inspired this song? I can tell you there were two tracks that I listened to a whole lot when composing this song. The first was Kate Bush's Cloud Busting. The drums from this track that you'll hear in a little bit here are very much inspired by that track. And I tried to borrow just some of the mood and the feeling from Kate Bush's legendary track. I went back and watched the video that she made where she pretends to be a boy, and Donald Sutherland's in that video. I thought it was great, and that really was kind of sitting in my head the whole time I was composing Endless Desire. But also Coldplay's Viva La Vida. The strings in that song, the urgency in that song, and some of the structure in that song were definitely an inspiration too for this one. Let's talk about instrumentation. So this one was definitely built up in GarageBand and accentuated with a bunch of kind of third-party apps. So I built this one using the Brooklyn kit in GarageBand. That was kind of the inspiration for those Kate Bush sounding drums. I used the muted bass. What else did I use? The strings, for sure. The strings that come with GarageBand, I used a whole lot in this track. As you can probably tell, there's layers upon layers as you go through the song. And strings come, strings go. They're always kind of there throughout this whole track. As well as things like just one of the generic pads. I used that to sort of underpin a lot of the third-party synthesizers that I used for this one as well. The glockenspiel was also a nice touch, and you'll hear that when we listen to the track here in a few minutes. As far as third-party apps go, I am a huge third-party app fan of synthesizers in particular, so I put a couple of them to use on this one. I used the Moog Model D. You'll hear that one during kind of the pre-chorus pad, but also the pad that carries throughout the rest of the song. I also used Sunriser. Sunriser is another one that you hear kind of more near the end, and I'll call some of these parts out as the song plays. That's one that you'll hear when there's kind of a crescendo and a little upping of the urgency and anticipation. And finally, last but not least, mellow sound. I like that mellotron sound that, again, helped lay that really fertile pad, which is some of the underpinnings of this song that the strings are built on top of. So with that, let's give it a listen. Here we go. You hear right out of the gate, urgent strings. These are the strings from GarageBand.
Out on the edge, and I can barely stand. Falling in again, give me your hand.
In the background you hear those pads swelling and ebbing and flowing.
How to be a better me.
There's the urgency kicked up
always
with the drums.
Was a mystery.
Just pounding, kind of
something
relentless.
that I couldn't see. Writing my own history.
Here comes the chorus.
What will I find when I look into your eyes tonight? A sign, a light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. A light that leads me on.
Go right into a breakdown here instead of into verse 2. This is kind of like a breather after that first chorus to catch your breath and get ready for verse 2. The pulsing bass, the pizzicato strings. Here we go.
Our eyes connect. In a moment I'm inspired. Looking at you, endless desire. Every word you sang, you see, felt like it was meant for me. Every possibility painted on my memory.
Another chorus.
What will I find when I look into your eyes tonight? A sign, a light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. A light that leads me on.
So we're going right into a bridge. Here we go.
You shared your soul with me. You taught me how to see.
The bridge is the reveal.
From that day on, I knew exactly who I'd be. You lit this fire in me. You brought me ecstasy. And I
Hear the sunriser as we transition. Here it comes, this wash right here.
What will I find when I look into
These pads
your
doing the work down
eyes?
there to lay the groundwork.
Tonight, a sign, a light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. A light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. What will I find?
Some variation in vocals. You can hear a lot of the different song elements coming back here at the very end. Hear the pizzicato strings in the back.
A light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. A light that leads me on and on and on and on and on. A light that leads me on.
Use the Glock to end it. And then fade out. Alright everybody, that was the track. Let's talk a little more about the lyrics. Alright, so the lyrics for this one were inspired by the moment when you're watching a performer or an artist on stage and your eyes connect with them and they inspire you, and it's enough to send you on your way and propel you forward in your own journey. So this song is kind of linear in so much as that the first verse and pre-chorus and even the first chorus are meant to kind of be before the moment happens. But verse 2 is when the moment happens. And it's that feeling of when our eyes connect, in a moment I'm inspired. That's where that line comes from. And then on through the rest of the song until the bridge, which is when you're kind of retrospectively looking at it and understanding what that moment meant to you. And so the moment that I thought about quite a lot as I wrote this song is a moment like this that happened in my life. And it's the moment when I saw PJ Harvey back in the early 2000s. I saw her in a huge arena. She was opening for U2 at the time. And certainly U2 made an impression on me, but I think the first thing I think about when I think of that night is the eye contact that I made with her and how I was so happy to have seen her because I loved the album that she was touring behind at the time. So that's what was in my head when I was writing the lyrics for this particular one. Let's talk about the structure. So the structure for this one is pretty standard fare. Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. The bridge, which again, the bridge is the reveal. The bridge is your opportunity to do something different. For a while there, when I had additional versions of this song, I had it kind of a breakdown and a lull and a longer outro chorus, but my wife encouraged me to think differently and throw in a really cool sounding bridge. So I tried my best, and I think I nailed it. And then after the bridge happens, a chorus to close things off. Let's talk about the cover. The cover for this one. It's purple. It's a purple cover. It's a good one. It's an image that to me kind of evokes a sense of mystery, a sense of longing, perhaps. It's an image that just showed up on my photo roll somehow. I think it was probably one of my kids trying to take a picture from somewhere, and I processed it and made it look like it does now, and it's like a purple cloud coming out of nowhere. It's just it's so mysterious that I love it, and I love the image that brings to mind when I think about this particular song. So last, after we've talked about it and listened to it retrospectively, so this is all about what would I do differently if I was going to cut this track again. And the thing that really jumped out to me as I was thinking about this question is any way possible that I could make this song bigger, whether it's by getting some new software and adding a couple additional layers, whether it's by perhaps somehow enhancing the vocals to sound bigger. That's the only thing I could think of in terms of tweaks I would make to this song. I think it's one of the best that I've ever written. I love it, and I hope you do too. Thanks for being with me as we've talked through Endless Desire and all the different inspiration and components and everything else. Please follow me, share this video if you like it, and I'll see you next time.